Okay, let's take a look at these practice problems together. The computation is simple, just so that we can get the basic idea for how to deal with the signs. Here we go, set one, number one. The key idea is we're thinking of opposite of a negative is a positive. Ooh, that got a little sideways. And vice versa. So 4 times 7 is 28. And the opposite of a positive makes it a negative 28. Number 2, 10 times 12, 120. Opposite of a positive is a negative 120. Remember that negative 1 means the opposite of positive 11, which is negative 11. 8 times 4 is 32. And the opposite of a negative makes it a positive 32. Okay, now we have a string of numbers, so we can strictly do our computation first, and then we can deal with the sign of our answer. So if we just multiply straight across, left to right, or commutative property says you can multiply in any order that works for you, but these numbers are pretty easy, so I'm just going to go left to right. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 6 is 60. Times 1 is still 60. And then let's go ahead and deal with the sign. I have 2 that are negative. So the opposite of a negative makes it a positive. Number 6, again, I'm just going to multiply straight across because these numbers are relatively easy. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 1 is still 8. 8 times 5 is 40. The opposite of a negative is a positive, and the opposite of that positive makes it a negative 40. Okay, one more in the multiplication set. Look at all these ones. 1 times anything is itself, so all these 1s times 12. We know 12 is going to be the number, but let's determine the sign. The opposite of a negative is a positive. The opposite of that positive makes it a negative 12. Okay, division, same thing. We're just dividing instead of multiplying. 9 divided by 1 is 9. The opposite of this negative makes it a positive 9. 25 divided by 5 is 5. The opposite of that positive makes it a negative 5. Number 3 looks exactly the same as far as the negatives. 9 divided by 3 is 3. And the opposite of the positive makes it a negative 3. Remember, if I'm going a little bit too fast, you can feel free to push pause as needed and then replay when you're ready. 20 divided by 20 is 1. There's a negative. We're going to read that as opposite. Opposite of a positive is a negative 1. Okay, we have a couple with integers strung together. Ooh, with a subtraction, addition. Okay, it's getting interesting. Okay, so we have a division symbol and a subtraction symbol. Order of operations says we have to do our division first. 24 divided by 8 is 3, and the opposite of the negative makes it a positive 3. Then I'm going to deal with my subtraction symbol. Remember, when we encounter subtraction, we're going to add the opposite. So subtraction changes to addition. The opposite of a negative 1 is a positive 1. Wow, that just got a lot easier. 3 plus 1 is 4. Thank you very much. Okay, 2 left. Again, I have a division and an addition. So we have to tackle division first. That's the case with order of operations. 18 divided by 9 is 2. I have a negative here, so we have to read that as the opposite of that positive makes it a negative. Drop down the addition. I would put this in parentheses here just to separate those two symbols. And I owe you $2 and I owe you $15, which means I owe you a total of $17. Okay, last one. Okay, I have a subtraction and I have a division. So order of operations says I have to do division first, okay? So I'm gonna just circle my subtraction symbol just so I can keep it separated. 20 divided by 10 is 2. Opposite of that positive makes it a negative, okay? Now, be careful. I still need to drop down my subtraction symbol. So I'm gonna put this -2 in parentheses just to separate those two there. Whoops, you can't see, sorry. Then I'm gonna drop down my -10. Finally, we have to remember that instead of subtracting, we're gonna add its opposite. So -10 gets dropped, subtraction changes to addition, and the opposite of -2 is +2. I owe you $10, but I only have 2. Sorry about that. Looks like I still owe 8 for a -8. Okay, hope that helped with going over any of your questions on our multiplying and dividing integers practice page. See you later.